Hi, my name's Louise and welcome to my journey. I'm 45 years old and I have multiple myeloma, also known as myeloma, and I just wanted to share my story, share my journey in the hope that I maybe help and inspire someone. It would be really great to inspire lots of people. So I think if you could hit the like button and subscribe, I believe that my reach can get a little bit wider, and if it can get a little bit wider, then I can indeed inspire more people. So let's start with my journey, because everyone's experience and everyone's journey is going to be very, very different to mine. So I can only talk about where I'm at and what I've been through. So here goes. I'm going to try and keep it under 5 minutes. Good luck, because I do talk a lot. So I had a bad back in 2018, around Easter, April 2018. My back was really hurting. I'm a hairdresser, so bad backs sort of does feel a little bit like par for the course. So I ignored it. In fact, I ignored it until it was so bad I could barely walk. And one morning I was on my way to work and I did collapse in pain in the high street. Which was really embarrassing. Actually, I was just laid on the floor and I couldn't move. I was just in so much pain and spasms. So we called an ambulance and I went to A&E. A little bit disappointed. A&E didn't even do an x-ray, so I hobbled out because I could barely walk with painkillers in my hand, and I phoned my GP, who I'm really lucky to have an amazing GP, and I saw her a few days later and she sent me for an MRI. The MRI showed that I had a fracture in my L2 vertebrae, so that was a big panic at the time. I was rushed, a rush referral to hospital, and blood tests and CT scans all came back clear and negative. So I was a little bit confusing at the hospital. They didn't know what to do with me. So I went to haematology. I was referred to haematology, who ordered a bone biopsy of my L2 vertebrae, of the affected area that had fractured. And unfortunately, that biopsy came back and showed that I had a solitary plasmacyatoma, which I've never heard of, which nobody's ever heard of. It's actually really, really rare, and I guess the best way to describe it is it's a little bit of a precursor for multiple myeloma. But nonetheless, we did further tests, and I had a bone marrow biopsy and a PET CT scan, and both of those came back also clear and negative. So that was a huge relief, because it did just mean that I had a solitary plasmacytoma. So I just had one affected vertebrae. It hadn't spread. I didn't have any other areas in my bones or bloods that showed that I had myeloma. So a plasmacytoma is slightly more manageable. I had radical radiotherapy, so that's maximum dose radiotherapy to the affected vertebrae. That left a lovely big hole where the cancer had been. That took ages to repair and recover. I ended up in a back brace for 6 months, but it was leopard print, so I loved it. I really loved it, actually, and it was just finally lovely to wear something that was helping the pain that I was having in my back. So by the end of 2019, we were all good. I felt fully healed. I felt more like my old self and was just carrying on living my life, which is really important. I think I think everyone should do that anyway, but once one has a diagnosis like this, you do learn the value of that, I think, a little bit more. So you can imagine I was really disappointed September, October 2020, when I felt the same old kind of bone pain, and a 3 monthly checkup, my bloods had also gone a little bit higher, so my paraprotein had risen, which is a myeloma marker. So another PET CT showed that by this time I had indeed progressed to multiple myeloma. I had 5 areas in my bones, and we needed to go on and do some more serious treatment. So in January 21 of this year, I started chemo, myeloma induction treatment. It's very common to treat line one treatment with VTD chemo. So I've just finished 6 months of that, and tomorrow I start the harvesting process. Well, really, I start the stem cell transplant process, and that at first starts with they have to prepare and harvest my own stem cells, which they will then go off and freeze, and then probably mid-September I will have high dose chemotherapy, and my frozen stem cells will then be put back into me to kind of rescue me after the high dose chemotherapy kills all my cells. So I thought this was a good time maybe to start this journey, start a little bit of a diary, and I just really hope that you will all come along for the ride and support, and just help spread the word. And yeah, I think that's probably about it, and I shall look forward to seeing you soon.